Hello and welcome to Mastermind with me, Clive Myrie. In the spotlight tonight are Alison Rose, a retired HR director whose specialist subject is the life of the English diarist Anne Lister. Alan McClarty, a drama teacher who will be answering questions on the film and stage musical Dear Evan Hansen. Sangeetha Navaratnam Blair, a charity policy manager whose subject is Queen Elizabeth I. And Harry Hodson, a compliance administrator, his subject, the feature films of David Lynch. You've heard of the loneliness of the long-distance runner. Well, how about the loneliness of the mastermind contender? You see, when it comes to answering 2 minutes on their specialist subject and 2.5 minutes on general knowledge, they're all alone in the black chair. Their only companions are the spotlight and the ticking clock as they battle it out for a place in the semi-finals. We wish them well. So, can I ask our first contender to join us, please? Your name?
Alison Rose.
Your occupation?
Retired HR director.
And your specialist subject?
The life of Anne Lister.
The wealthy independent landowner and prolific diarist born in 1791, now known as Gentleman Jack and sometimes dubbed the first modern lesbian. In 2 minutes, here we go. What was the name of the boarding school in York where Anne Lister used her first diarist to record details of her relationship with her fellow student, Eliza Raine?
Manor boarding house.
Yes, Lister spent much of her childhood in which town in the East Riding of Yorkshire, near the birthplace of her mother, Rebecca?
Market Wheaton.
Yes, in 1815, when Lister moved in permanently with her Aunt Anne and Uncle James at the historic Shibden Hall, what room became her bedroom?
The Blue Room.
Yes, Mariana Balcombe, with whom Lister had a passionate relationship over many years, married which wealthy Cheshire landowner in 1816, a union Lister described as the day of doom that sealed so many fates.
Charles Lawton.
Yes, what was the name of the inn where twice a year Lister would gather the tenants of the Shibden Hall estate to collect their rents?
The Stag's Head.
Yes, in 1832, Lister became the only woman among 12 subscribers who helped fund the Museum of What Society, then recently established in Halifax.
The Literary and Philosophical Society.
Yes, what's the name of the house on the Crow Nest estate where the heiress Anne Walker lived when, in 1832, Lister resolved to try and make up to her?
Lydgate.
Yes, Holy Trinity Church, where Lister and Anne Walker took Holy Communion together in 1834, in a ceremony they regarded as their wedding, has its main entrance on which street in York?
Goodramgate.
Yes, Lister had an uneasy relationship with her sister Marion, writing disparagingly in her diary that the younger sibling liked to be the cock of the what?
Walk.
No, dunghill. Lister died of a fever in 1840 at the age of 49 in a town called Kutaisi, now known as Kutaisi, in which modern-day country?
Georgia.
Yes, a keen mountaineer, Lister was the first woman to reach the summit of Mount Perdu before being recorded in early August 1838 as the first non-local to complete the ascent of which other peak in the Pyrenees?
Vignemal.
Yes, when Lister's land steward James Briggs died in 1832, which trusted and skillful person succeeded him?
Samuel Washington.
Yes, Lister was always keen to engage with high society, and in 1833 was granted an audience with the Queen of which country, later describing her as a nice, neat little figure, looking very well, but sadly too much rouged.
Denmark.
It was Denmark. And Alison, you had no passes, and at the end of that round, you've got 12 points. Our next contender, please. Your name?
Alan McClarty.
Your occupation?
I'm a drama teacher.
And your specialist subject?
Dear Evan Hansen.
The award-winning stage musical and film about a socially anxious American teenager who gets caught up in a lie. In 2 minutes, here we go. Which actor originated the title role, becoming the youngest solo winner of a Tony Award for Best Leading Actor?
Ben Platt.
Yes. What's the name of the theatrical producer who commissioned Benji Pasek and Justin Paul to write the show's music and lyrics, which they based on an incident Pasek experienced as a teenager?
Stacey Mindich.
Yes, after a classmate, Connor Murphy, takes his own life, Evan Hansen pretends to have been close friends with him. The two were fellow students at what high school?
East.
No, Westview High School, after Stephen Levinson joined Pasek and Paul as the book writer. The musical premiered at which venue in Washington, D.C. in July 2015?
The Arena Stage.
Yes. What's the name of the show's projection designer who created a set consisting of projected images on hanging screens, giving a realistic impression of a teenager's online existence?
David Corrins.
No, Peter Nigrini. Which song featuring the lyrics "You're popping up on every laptop screen and kids will dress like you for Halloween" was cut from the musical shortly before its premiere in Washington, D.C.?
Pass.
The show's opening night on Broadway in December 2016 had been announced for which venue on West 44th Street before it was changed to the slightly smaller Music Box Theatre?
The Vaudeville.
No, Belasco Theatre. At the beginning of the story, Evans's arm is in plaster after a fall from a tree while working as an apprentice ranger for what state park?
Ellis.
No, Ellison State Park. Committed followers of the musical refer to themselves by what name, with some of them featuring in projected background images during the song "You Will Be Found"?
Fansons.
Yes, Conor Murphy's entry in the high school yearbook was a list of his favourite books. In the film, which one is Evan reading in the school canteen after he's confessed on social media that he lied about their friendship?
Curious Incident, The Dog in the Nighttime.
No, Cat's Cradle. When the London production opened at the Noel Coward Theatre in November 2019, which actress played Evans's mother, Heidi?
Bex McInnes.
Yes, Rebecca McInnes. And Alan, you had just the one pass. The song featuring the lyrics "You're popping up on every laptop screen and kids will dress like you for Halloween." It was cut before the premiere in Washington, D.C. from the musical going viral. And at the end of that round, Alan, you've got 5 points. And our next contender, please. Your name?
Sangeetha Navaratnam Blair,
Your occupation?
Charity Policy Manager,
And your specialist subject?
Elizabeth I.
Yes, the Tudor monarch who came to the throne of England in the 16th century. In 2 minutes, let's go. When Elizabeth learned of her accession to the throne in November 1558, she was staying at which residence in Hertfordshire?
Hatfield House.
Yes, what two-word Latin phrase meaning always the same was one of Elizabeth's mottos and appeared on her coat of arms?
Semper Idem.
Yes, in June 1572, which of Elizabeth's maternal cousins became the first nobleman to die on the scaffold during her reign, having been found guilty of high treason?
Duke of Norfolk.
Yes, at her coronation mass in Westminster Abbey, Elizabeth refused to attend the elevation of the host, the element of the ceremony most sacred to Catholics, withdrawing instead to a curtained pew in which chapel?
Westminster Abbey.
No, St. Edward's Chapel. Which foreign suitor did Elizabeth turn down in February 1560, writing that "we do not conceive in our hearts to take a husband, but highly commend this single life"?
Henry of Anjou.
No, Eric of Sweden. What was the name of the great-granddaughter of King Henry VII, who was a possible successor to Elizabeth, until she fell out of favour with her when she married Edward Seymour without her permission?
Catherine Grey.
Yes, which Pope said of Elizabeth, "She certainly is a great queen, and were she only a Catholic, she would be our dearly beloved daughter"?
Pius V.
No, Sixtus V. Which courtier referred to Elizabeth as Cynthia, after the moon goddess, while she nicknamed him Water, mimicking his broad Devon accent?
Walter Raleigh.
Yes, what item which can be used in a christening ceremony did Elizabeth, as godmother, send to Prince James of Scotland for his baptism in December 1566?
A crib.
No, a gold font. Which French suitor arrived at Greenwich to woo Elizabeth personally in 1579 and asserted that she was the jailer of his heart and mistress of his liberty?
Francis of Anjou.
Yes. What name was given to Marcus Gaderart's 1592 portrait, believed to be the largest surviving full-length painting of Elizabeth, and depicts her standing on a map of England with her feet resting on Oxfordshire?
The Ditchley portrait.
Yes, in August 1588, with the Spanish Armada in sight off the English coast, Elizabeth rode out to address her troops at which fortified camp on the Thames estuary?
Tilbury.
Yes, it was Tilbury. And Sangeetha, you've got 8 points and no passes. And our final contender, please. Your name?
Harry Hodson,
Your occupation?
Compliance Administrator.
And your specialist subject?
The feature films of David Lynch.
The feature films of the acclaimed American film director. In 2 minutes, here we go. Which actor plays the protagonist, Henry Spencer, in David Lynch's debut feature film, Eraserhead?
Jack Nance.
Yes, the actress Mrs. Kendall visits John Merrick at the Royal London Hospital and tells him that he is not an elephant man at all, comparing him to which Shakespearean character?
Romeo.
Yes, the garage where Pete Dayton works in Lost Highway has what name after the character played by Richard Pryor in the film?
Joe's.
No, Arnie's. In June, when Stilgar is overpowered by Lady Jessica during their first encounter, he compliments her with the remark that she's worth 10 times her weight in what commodity?
Spice.
No, water. What's the name of the nightclub in Blue Velvet where Jeffrey Beaumont sees the singer Dorothy Valance performing the film's title song?
The Slow Club.
Yes, in Wild at Heart, what message does Lula write on a piece of paper and hand to her boyfriend Sailor in their motel room in Big Tuna, Texas, after she tells him that she can't say it out loud?
I'm pregnant.
Yes, what's the full name of the British actor who plays the carnival ringmaster Mr. Bites in The Elephant Man and Thufir Hawat, the Mentat, in the House of Atreides in Dune?
Pass.
In Twin Peaks, Fire Walk With Me, when the long-lost FBI agent Philip Jeffries unexpectedly appears at the Bureau's Philadelphia office, whom does he specifically say that he's not going to talk about?
Julie.
No, Judy. What's the surname of the twin brothers Harold and Thorvald who repair Alvin Straight's lawnmower in the Strait story?
Lee and Tom.
No, Olsen. Which American composer plays the sinister, espresso-obsessed Luigi Castigliani in Mulholland Drive?
Angelo Badalamenti.
Yes, in a scene in Inland Empire in which the protagonist, Nikki Grace, lies on the pavement at Hollywood and Vine, two women discuss bus routes to which city?
San Diego.
No, Pomona. What name is shared by the apartment building where Dorothy Valance lives in Blue Velvet and the small town in Ontario that the aspiring actress Betty Elms leaves to pursue a career in Hollywood in Mulholland Drive?
Grand Rapids.
No, Deep River. After Chester Desmond's I've Started So I'll Finish disappearance in Twin Peaks, Fire Walk With Me, FBI Special Agent Dale Cooper discovers his abandoned vehicle at the Fat Trout Trailer Park with what slogan written in red lipstick on the windscreen?
But caught between two worlds.
No, Let's Rock. And Harry, you had just the one pass, the full name of the British actor who plays the carnival ringmaster Mr. Bites in The Elephant Man, Freddie Jones. And at the end of that round, Harry, you've got 5 points. And at the end of the Specialist Subjects round, let's have a look at the scores. In joint third place with 5 points each, Alan and Harry. In second place with 8 points, it's Sangeetha. And in first place with 12 points, it's Alison. So now, the general knowledge round. And if there's a tie at the end, then the number of passes is taken into account. And the person with the fewer passes is the winner. And if they're tied on passes as well, it's a tie break. So let's ask Alan to join us again, please. So, Alan, you start with 5 points. You've now got 2.5 minutes on general knowledge. Let's go. In the name of the alcoholic drink known informally as G&T, the letters stand for gin and what mixer?
Tonic.
Yes, what disease transmitted by female mosquitoes of the genus Anopheles is caused by several species of Plasmodium parasite?
Malaria.
Yes, the American television series Knots Landing, first broadcast between 1979 and 1993, was a spin-off of which soap opera?
Dynasty.
No, Dallas. The service stations Hilton Park, Sandbach and Lancaster are on which motorway?
M6.
Yes, which Caribbean country became a republic in 2021, replacing Queen Elizabeth II as head of state with its first president, Dame Sandra Mason?
Jamaica.
No, Barbados. A Parisian woman named Fernanda Olivier was a model and muse for which Spanish artist who painted more than 60 portraits of her?
Goya.
No, Pablo Picasso. A Sam Brown, often worn as part of a military or police uniform, is a type of what clothing accessory?
Hat.
No, belt. Which Welsh singer had UK hit singles in the 1960s with What's New Pussycat, Delilah and I'll Never Fall in Love Again?
Tom Jones.
Yes, the Death Valley and Joshua Tree National Parks are in which desert in Southern California?
Atacama.
No, Mojave Desert. Which metallic element with the chemical symbol SR is commonly used as an ingredient in signal flares and fireworks because it forms compounds that burn with a red flame?
Selenium.
No, strontium. The 2021 film, subtitled Afterlife, is the fourth installment in what supernatural comedy franchise?
Ghostbusters.
Yes, the 1958 Nobel Prize in Literature was awarded to which Russian writer who ultimately declined the prize because of opposition in his country, the award eventually being collected by his son in 1989.
Dostoevsky.
No, Boris Pasternak. What term for a gentle breeze comes from the name of the Greek god of the west wind?
Zephyr.
Yes, in netball, the letters GD on a player's bib indicate which position.
Goal defense.
Yes, the name of what thick Chinese sauce typically used as a glaze, marinade or dip translates from Cantonese as seafood.
Teppanyaki.
No, hoisin sauce, Brighouse and Rastrick, Black Dyke and Grimethorpe Colliery are well-known British examples of what type of musical ensemble?
Brass band.
Yes, in 2009, the smallest prize awarded to winning premium bond holders was reduced from £50 to what amount?
20.
No, £25. What's the name of the free online encyclopedia, written and edited by contributors, that was launched in 2001 by Larry Sanger and Jimmy Wales?
Wikipedia.
It is Wikipedia. And Alan, you had no passes, and at the end of that round, you've got 14 points. And next up, it's Harry. Harry, you start with 5 points. The score to beat as it stands is 14 points. You've now got 2.5 minutes on general knowledge. Let's go. CO2 is the chemical formula for which colourless, odourless gas?
Carbon dioxide.
Yes, in a common expression, trying unnecessarily to improve something that is already ideal is known as gilding what flower?
A rose.
No, Lily. Temple Meads is a major railway station in which English city?
Liverpool.
No, Bristol. Which singer had UK hit singles in December 2021 with Oh My God and I Drink Wine?
Pass.
Which city in Tanzania replaced Dar es Salaam as the country's official national capital city?
Pass.
The British athlete Phillips Idowu won a silver medal at the 2008 Beijing Olympics in which discipline?
Triple jump.
Yes, what name derived from French is given to a style of flat, round woolen cap traditionally worn by Basque peasants, but later adopted as part of the uniform of certain units of the British Army and other military personnel?
Beret.
Yes, what's the surname of the French detective played on television by Cheikh Cario, first in The Missing in 2014 and then in an eponymous spin-off series?
Maigret.
No, Baptiste in the novel Through the Looking Glass by Lewis Carroll. Tweedledum and Tweedledee recite a poem to Alice, which they call The Walrus and the what?
Whale.
No, Carpenter. Beethoven's Symphony No. 3 in E-flat major, a work comprising 4 movements, beginning with Allegro con brio, is better known by what name?
Ode to Joy.
No, Eroica Symphony. What nationality precedes the words man o' war in the name of a marine organism resembling a jellyfish?
Portuguese.
Yes, early Richmond and Montmorency are sour varieties of what stone fruit?
Olives.
No, cherry. The 1996 film Fever Pitch and the 2002 film About a Boy were both adapted from novels by which British author?
Salman Rushdie.
No, Nick Hornby. Which American inventor obtained a patent in 1794 for his cotton gin, but spent a fortune on legal cases against manufacturers who infringed the patent to meet the increasing demand for his machine?
James Franklin.
No, Eli Whitney. St. Peter Port is the main town on which one of the Channel Islands?
Guernsey.
Yes, what monthly publication was launched as a family magazine in New York in 1886, but was recast in the 1960s by its new editor, Helen Gurley Brown, to appeal mainly to young women and use the slogan, Fun, Fearless, Female?
Ms.
No, Cosmopolitan. When used in the context of film and theatre productions, the term Kensington Gore refers to a liquid intended to resemble what substance?
Sweat.
No, blood. The US presidents Andrew Johnson, Bill Clinton and Donald Trump were all impeached while in office. Which other 20th century US president escaped impeachment by resigning before the process could be completed?
Richard Nixon.
It was Richard Nixon. Harry, you just had the 2 passes, the city in Tanzania that replaced Dar es Salaam as the official capital, Dodoma. And Adele sang Oh My God and I Drink Wine. At the end of that round, Harry, you've got 11 points. And next up, it's Sangeetha. Sangeetha, you start with 8 points. The score to beat as it stands, 14 points. You've got 2.5 minutes on general knowledge. Here we go. What French word is commonly used in English for the person to whom one is engaged to be married?
Fiancé.
Yes, the British television game show Big Break, shown from 1991 to 2002, was based on what ball game?
Football.
No, snooker. The Barbary Coast is an historic name for the northern edge of which continent?
Africa.
Yes, Charles Perrault's Histoire ou Contes du Temps Passé, a late 17th century collection of fairy tales that includes Cinderella and Sleeping Beauties, usually known in English as the tales of whom?
Grimm.
No, Mother Goose. The maximum speed limit on a single carriageway road in the UK is how many miles per hour?
60.
Yes, which broadcaster and writer became the new host of the Radio 4 panel game Just a Minute in 2021, having been a regular contestant on the show when it was hosted by Nicholas Parsons?
Sandy Toksvig.
No, Sue Perkins, a cricket umpire who extends both arms horizontally, is signalling what type of extra?
Out.
No, a wide. What Pulitzer Prize-winning play by Arthur Miller tells the story of the last hours of its main character, Willy Loman?
Death of a salesman.
Yes, what word follows great or first in names commonly given to a landmark 1832 Act of Parliament, which, among other things, redistributed the parliamentary constituencies of England and Wales?
The act.
No, reform in the Toy Story films. Which actor voices the character of Woody the cowboy?
Tom Hanks.
Yes, which imperial unit of measurement traditionally used for beer is equal to 9 imperial gallons, or a quarter of a barrel?
A pint.
No, Firkin. What's the professional name of the American R&B singer Christopher Brough, who had a UK hit album with Channel Orange in 2012 and topped the chart in 2016 with his follow-up album entitled Blonde?
Frank Ocean.
Yes, St Aidan's, St Mary's and St Chad's are colleges of which university in northeast England?
Durham.
Yes. What term is most commonly used to refer to the concessionary diplomatic policy pursued by Britain and France in the 1930s in the hope of avoiding conflict with Nazi Germany?
A pass.
The edible flatfish called the common sole has what alternative name after the seaport in Kent, where it was landed and transported to London in the 19th century?
Dover sole.
Yes, which French economist wrote the best-selling 2013 book, Capital in the 21st Century?
Pass.
A medicinal suspension of magnesium hydroxide taken to relieve indigestion and heartburn or used as a laxative is commonly known by what 3-word name suggesting a dairy product?
Milk of magnesium.
No, but close, it's milk of magnesia. And Sangeetha, you had 2 passes. The French economist who wrote the best-selling 2013 book, Capital in the 21st Century, Thomas Piketty. And the term that's most commonly used to refer to the concessionary diplomatic policy pursued by Britain and France to avoid conflict with Germany. It's appeasement. Yeah, you knew that. And at the end of that round, Sangeetha, you've got 16 points. And finally, let's have Alison again. So, Alison, you start with 12 points, the score to beat to get through to the semi-finals. Is Sangeetha's 16 points. You've got 2.5 minutes on general knowledge. Starting now. The Siberian Husky, often used to pull a sled across snow-covered ground, is a breed of what domesticated animal?
Dog.
Yes. What was the basic unit of currency in France immediately before the introduction of the euro?
Franc.
Yes. In June 2021, Ange Postecoglou was appointed as the new manager of which Scottish Premiership football club?
Celtic.
Yes. Which Beatrix Potter character has 3 sisters called Flopsy, Mopsy and Cottontail?
Hermione.
No, Peter Rabbit. The American actor Adam West, who died in 2017, played which superhero in an eponymous 1960s television series?
Superman.
No, Batman. Which island in the South Atlantic, part of a British overseas territory, is named after the mother of the Roman Emperor Constantine the Great?
St. Helena.
Yes, the London-born guitarist Saul Hudson, who joined the American rock band Guns N' Roses in 1985, is better known by what nickname?
Hat.
No, slash. The letters in the acronym STEM, used as a collective term in education, usually stand for science, technology, engineering, and what other subject?
Management.
No, maths. Which West End show won 7 prizes at the 2022 Olivier Awards, including 4 acting prizes, as well as Best Musical Revival and the Best Director Award for Rebecca Frecknell?
Chicago.
No, Cabaret. The mineral sylvite, sometimes known as sylvine, is an important source of what substance used in the manufacture of fertilizers?
Nitrates.
No, potash. In Norse mythology, which god is said to have sacrificed one of his own eyes in order to gain wisdom from the well of Mimir?
Odin.
Yes. What electrical appliance, often provided in hotel rooms, was developed in the 1960s by an RAF veteran named Peter Corby?
Trouser press.
Yes, in what 2021 film does Rami Malek play the villain Lucifer Safin?
Iron Man.
No, No Time to Die. What now defunct satirical magazine was first printed in 1841 with an issue subtitled The London Charivari, in tribute to the French publication that inspired it?
Punch.
Yes, in 1972, the charity known as the National Association for Mental Health adopted what new name?
Mencap.
No, Mind. What pickled relish comprising a mixture of chopped vegetables, usually including cauliflower, together with various spices, is given its yellow colour by the addition of turmeric and mustard powder?
Piccalilli.
Yes, what term for the leading sheep in a flock is used in American politics to describe a state that's regarded as a reliable guide to voting patterns?
Bellwether.
Yes, which 19th century Australian outlaw was the subject, I've started so I'll finish, the subject of several paintings by the artist Sir Sidney Lowland?
Ned Kelly.
It was Ned Kelly. And Alison, you had no passes, and at the end of that round, you've done it. 22 points.
Thank you.
So let's have a look at the final scores. In fourth place with 11 points, it's Harry. In third place with 14 points, it's Alan. In second place with 16 points, it's Sangeetha. And in first place with 22 points, it's Alison, which means she goes through to the semi-finals. Congratulations to her. Now, if you would like to be a contender in the next series, please go to our website, bbc.co.uk/mastermind. And you can follow us, as ever, at Mastermind Quiz. Join us again next time for more Masterminds. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.
I chose Anne Lister as my specialist subject because she's an icon of lesbian history. She was the most extraordinary person, a little bit Marmite perhaps. She wrote an incredible diary of around about 5 million words, much of it in secret code. She was a businesswoman and a landowner, and it was a privilege to bring her to a wider audience.
And Alison, you had no passes, and at the end of that round, you've got 12 points.
I'm absolutely thrilled and delighted to have won my heat. I think at last count I had 597 flashcards to prepare for the show, which was a labour of love in itself.
So, Alison, you start with 12 points to score to beat to get through to the semi-finals. Is Sangeetha's 16 points?
But I knew that general knowledge is something that it's really hard to revise because you can't know everything. So I knew that was going to be a challenge. Piccalilli.
Yes.
Bellwether.
Yes.
Ned Kelly.
It is Ned Kelly.
I applied to Mastermind because it's a programme I've watched all my life, I think. And I thought, when I retire, I'm going to have time, I'm going to go for it.